Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum to all my viewers. Welcome to my channel. Please don't forget to subscribe it. And if you have any problem in your data analysis, you may contact my on given email and WhatsApp number. I have lost videos performed regression analysis. Now in this video I am going to show you how can we do simple mediation analysis in SmartPLS version 4. This is my base model which I have started in my first video, and on the basis of this model I am going to perform all the analysis in my upcoming videos. So let's go to the SmartPLS version 4. Here you can see that we have created online tutorial folder, and this is my actually base model, and I need to first make it its copy here. So we will work for a simple mediation analysis. We will rename it as simple mediation analysis. I have told you earlier that first you have to make your base model, and once you do perform confirmatory effect analysis, after that just go through that model and perform the other analysis you are required, such that mediation, moderation, and so on. So I click on the simple mediation analysis here. The model will reopen here. Just it takes some time to reload it. This is my model that I was working on it, and in this video, as I am going to explain the simple mediation analysis, so I will just take here the one IV, one mediator, and one DV variable, and we will delete all others variable. For example, because I will show you in the upcoming videos that how we will perform parallel mediation and sequential mediation and more complex model, hopefully. So I am going to drop moderation effect. I just want to divide this, delete second, third variable. Now this is a simple mediation analysis in which we have are basically one independent variable, one dependent variable, and one mediator. Here in the mediation analysis, basically what we do, mediation is the process in which we have uh, three paths. This is called IV to DV is called the direct path, and while it's IV to mediator and mediator to DV is the indirect path, and this is indirect path. We are concerned here with for mediation analysis that either our indirect path are significant or not significant. What the basic assumptions are in mediation analysis? The mediation analysis tells that first we in previous video we have checked that the IVs have impact on DV. This impact could be significant or insignificant. In both cases here be, but when we test the mediation analysis, we actually test that either this path from IV to mediator and mediator to DV is that remain the significant, and is that mediation is performed between independent variable and the dependent variable performed or not. So here we test the mediation. Basically when we test the mediation, we can two approaches. We have here two approaches. The first one is called the Barron and Canny approach, and the second one is the Hayes process, Hayes indirect process, or Hayes conditional effects, Hayes conditional indirect effects. What the Barron and Canny says, Barron and Canny says that if prior to test mediation, if this path was significant, or after performing mediation analysis, is that path remains significant or insignificant. Now let's see, here we have cases like that. If this path is still significant and IV to mediator had significant effect and mediator to DV has a significant effect, because these three paths are significant, this approach is called barren canning. This as these three paths are significant, so we will say here that there is a partial mediation. And once for if the this path becomes insignificant, this path become insignificant, and these two paths remain the same significant, then we will say it is a full mediation process, that mediator is fully mediated this relationship. uh, this approach is called mediation if any of this path any of this path mean either IV to mediator or mediator to DV becomes insignificant, then there will be no mediation effects. There will be no mediation between the uh, IV to DV. Our mediator is insignificant. This approach is called barren and canny approach. What the Hayes process is? Hayes process says that if we know Hayes process says that this is the direct path and these are the indirect path, and we are concerned here for the indirect path. If the indirect paths are significant, then we have mediation analysis and mediation effect of the mediator. If the indirect path is significant, then there is a mediation. Now again the same scenario remains there, that if the IV to DV is a significant and this indirect path is also significant, then we will say that it is a partial mediation. But if the indirect direct path becomes insignificant, then we will say that the and indirect path is significant, we will say it is a full mediation. After incorporating mediator, this path becomes insignificant, then we will say the mediator have fully mediated the relationship of IV to DV. This is called Hayes process, and according to Hayes process we are concerned with the indirect path. Now here one thing I should also tell you, that how we calculate basically indirect path prior to run my mediation analysis. We name it that, for example, we say that the IV to DV path is named as A. A mean that is actually the beta value or the coefficient of the IVs on DV in regression coefficient, and we say that IV to mediator is the B and mediator to DV is the C path. What indirect path shows? Indirect path is the simply that we check the significance of the B into C, that the path from IV to mediator, that is B, and B to C, this path, this basically these are the beta weights, beta weight beta 1 and second one is the beta 2. We simply multiply it and check the significance of these beta values. If this path becomes significant, then we will say the indirect path is significant, so there is a mediation effect. It is a significant, then we will say this is a there is presence of the mediation effect between the given model. Now we will test in the SmartPLS. It is very simple to test the mediation analysis in a SmartPLS, is as I have latent factors. So I am going to simply run the go to the calculate option, and from calculate we simply run the consistent PLS SCM bootstrapping. Bootstrapping will directly provide us the probability values, on the basis that we will check out either these paths are significant or insignificant. So I am going to click on consistent PLS SCM bootstrapping. Yeah, I have already checked out the confirmatory factor analysis in my first video for this model, so I need not to redo the all confirmatory factor analysis or all the part to again perform the confirmatory factor analysis. So it is a bootstrapping setup. It should be remain the same, no need to change. PLS have set on the path analysis, and we are required with the standardized results. Data set is we have so for a single data set, so no we are not changing any in data values. So just I will click on the start calculation. bootstrapping takes some times if you have a complex models, like it is 5000 samples bootstrapping, and now at the start it is showing that it will take about more time. But for a simple model it take less time, but for a complicated or complex model it just take a time to execute the analysis. The analysis are done here. Simply, if you can see here on my graphical view, let me zoom it. If we check it here, the p values are showing in the arrows path, and this basically shows that these paths are the significant. So I will just here change the what should be shown in the values in the arrowhead: path coefficient and p values. Now its path coefficients with their significance also shown. And for outer model, we will show here the we can change into t values. A t value should be greater than 1.96, then this shows that the loadings are the significant. And when you do bootstrapping, that will not show you r square values in the blue circle. When you execute, if you want to do show you r square values, you have to perform simple calculation like PLS SEM, consistent PLS algorithm. Then you will see here the r square values. Otherwise, when you do bootstrapping, the r square values will not be shown here, and not any other thing: average, variance, extracted, cronbach alpha, and other values. So it will remain the blank. Here you can highlight the changes effect, which has most one, so it should remain the off for simplicity. Now here you can see, as I have told you earlier, that the paths have very important factor in your mediation analysis. Now IV to DV, the direct path is again here significant. IV to mediator is also negative and significant, and mediator to DV is also negative and significant. All three paths are significant, and we are now concerned for now in these days we are more concerned with the Hayes process model, not with the Barron and Canny approach. But these three paths actually shows here that the overall we have a partial mediation. If the direct path becomes insignificant, then we have a full mediation, but here we have a partial mediation effect. It is simply convert, but its confirmation can be done through the our path coefficients. And here you will see in your report that in the form of table that all the values, let me zoom in, that IV to DV path is significant, and IV to DV path is significant, IV to mediator is still significant, and mediator to DV is significant. So these three paths are significant, and we are concerned here for the indirect effect. These are called direct effect, but for indirect effect you have to click on the total indirect effect, and here you will have the indirect effect value, that is 0.152. 0.152. Let me open the calculator to show you that how this value comes. Now the indirect path IV to DV, if here we have just working with a simple mediation, so we have a single indirect path, and this indirect path is significant, so we have mediation effect in this case. If this path becomes insignificant, then we have no mediation effect. Actually mediator is not mediating the relationship. Here you will see a specific if you click on the specific indirect path, it will also show you the single value we have calculated in our indirect path. Specific indirect path are shown when you have a complex model with a different mediator and mediation or moderator. Then you have many specific indirect path in this model. So here is the total effect. Total is effect is the combination of all of these values. I have to go back to my graphical view here and show you one thing, what I have told you earlier. Let me zoom in. Here the value of IV to DV is what I have told you, that how it actually indirect path is calculated. This is the beta weight for the IV to mediator, this is for the mediator to DV. So if the value minus 0.473 into 0.322 is multiplied and to calculate, and this path is calculated, this value is calculated, that it is significant or not significant. If this is significant, we will say that the indirect path is significant and there is a presence of mediation analysis. Let me calculate this value. 0.473 multiplied by 0.32, 0.322, it gives 0.152. this value is 0.152. So let me check the tabulated value we have calculated was the same or not. You can open the report here. Now they have changes the format of opening the report. You just when you come back to your graphical user interface, now the report will shown here. You have to click on the folder icon, blue icon, and it will open the your report here. You can see here the where is the total indirect path. This value is a 0.152. So basically in this way the mediation analysis performed and the indirect paths are calculated. Hayes has defined different path analysis in different cases when we have a different mediators, moderator, and their path indirect path becomes sometimes made complex. But in SmartPLS it will be very simple to execute the mediation or moderation analysis, which I will show you in my next coming videos. Thank you so much.